Well, it's another active week in the ag marketplace and saw some really big moves earlier in the week in both the corn, especially in the soybeans. Visiting now for the daily market summary with Taylor Engum of agmarket.net. Taylor, what are we seeing in the grain markets today?
Grain markets definitely took a step back today. I think there's optimism on some new weather forecasts that project some cooler weather out into the next couple of weeks, and that's likely to help production in some of the areas that were facing more extreme heat.
And you mentioned that extreme heat we saw, especially I think in the Dakotas, that they're seeing some big heat issues, dryness issues, of course, in the Western US as well. And it feels like that is really starting to mount up and build some pressure on the marketplace. I mean, we saw that yesterday with some big moves in the markets as well.
Yeah, earlier this week, I think we had a lot of optimism on trade and exports for some old crop soybeans, and that was carrying corn and wheat along for the ride. But the weather's we're still in a weather market right now, and so the showers are kind of hit and miss out west. There are some thunderstorms coming through some areas and getting some well needed moisture onto some crops, and then other areas are dealing with too much rain.
And then we'll see the July WASDE report coming out soon as well. But does that kind of pale in comparison to those quarterly grain stocks and then the planted acres reports that we saw last week?
It's all part of the mix. I think that the WASDE report is going to give us some outlook on what European and Eastern European crops are looking like, and the hopefully it gives us a boost, and we see the funds start looking to add some grain positions.
Then over on the livestock side of the markets, how did cattle and hogs trade today?
Cattle were absolutely wild. We had a $10.40 range in feeder cattle and about a $4 and change range on live cattle. And so really the cattle were trying to find some direction and which way to go. We've hit some monthly lows and hoping to start seeing some support come back into the cattle. Hogs, the nearby hogs were knocking on the door of the $100 mark, but didn't quite get through there today.
And then as we look at the summer grilling season demand, it kind of peaks around the 4th of July holiday. Now that we're past that, do we generally see any ebb in that demand, or does it generally stay kind of strong as we get through till Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, demand should be solid. The interesting thing that we saw last year, there was a ton of news with screwworm in the U.S. and is the border open? Is the border closed last July? And so July can be a period where we do see weakening box beef prices, and we've seen the cutout weaken this week. Um, and so I think there is the possibility that fats and feeders do chase that cutout lower as well. But looking at last year, we had those two products moving in different directions. We had a lower cutout and higher feeders. So still some uncertainty out there, but I think demand is still going to be strong.
All right, Taylor, lots of great information today. For anybody who would like to get in touch with agmarket.net to learn more, how can they do that?
Jump on our website, agmarket.net, and get in touch with a broker.
All right, thanks again for your time as always, Taylor, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you.